episode, we are talking with India's top LinkedIn creator, Samparka Sachdeva, who has over 100,000 followers on LinkedIn. We are revealing how he cracked and mastered LinkedIn. This conversation is not just another video about hooks or viral tricks. It's about personal branding that creates client opportunities and build your career. We uncover how he built a personal brand so strong that every lead, project and partnership became inbound. He proved that LinkedIn is not just a place to share data, but a place to share reflection. In this AI era, data is everywhere. But what's missing are insights. When I sat with Samparka, he told me something I didn't expect.
I have not done cold calls in the last 5.5 years. Every lead, every business, every bit of revenue that has come in has been absolutely inbound through LinkedIn just because I built that community or the brand that people look up to.
Here's what we will discover in this episode. First, the framework to build your personal brand, whether you are 18, 25 or 45. Second, why storytelling and personal reflection beat raw data every time. Third, we often misunderstood LinkedIn as just a job-seeking platform, but the reality is different. Fourth, the rise of a founder's marketing and why people invest in the person before the product. Finally, the philosophy behind it all, why one needs to keep experimenting, especially for youths watching. Hi everyone, welcome to our new podcast. I am so excited for this episode because there's going to be a ton of takeaways. Let's welcome our guest, Sampark sir. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much. A pleasure to be here.
And a pleasure to host someone like you. So I think, so I wanted to start this with this question. What do you think people will get out of this 1.5 at least 1+ hour long conversation of ours?
So I think for a lot of people, it's going to be the importance of personal branding, the importance of personal branding in building your career, be it as a corporate professional, be it as an entrepreneur, and would love to share my journey on a platform like LinkedIn and how it was a big catalyst for me in terms of building a personal brand and how building this brand eventually helped me in my career. So I would love to share those stories with everyone.
So why LinkedIn?
So it started more of as an accidental passion that I had. It was never with the objective of becoming a content creator or an influencer, or for that matter, to build a personal brand. It became a platform where I got an opportunity to share my thoughts, share what was happening, etc. And I never realized where it started resonating with people, where people started saying, oh, this is something similar to what I experience at work, etc. And over a period of time, over a couple of years, I realized, oh, this is working. People, it is a personal brand got built accidentally, where people started walking up to me and say, oh, I'd read that content piece of yours, so loved it, loved your thoughts on this, etc. And that's where I realized, oh, this is gone in a completely different direction. And that's when I doubled down on the whole personal branding aspect as well.
How long has it been that you have started aggressively working to build your personal brand?
So I started writing in 2015. Till 2020, I was in a corporate job, enjoying myself. So I was just writing for the fun of it. 2019 was where I suddenly got an email from LinkedIn one day.
From
LinkedIn itself, that we've selected you as one of the top spotlight winners of 2019. So that is the top 14 content creators in India with the highest engagement kind of a thing. And that's where I realized, oh, this has gone somewhere else. And that was the day I realized that something that I was doing just for the fun of it or for the passion of writing has suddenly taken off. I think that set the ball rolling of me thinking, oh, can this be taken into something else? Can this be moved ahead? And I think that thought then got fast-tracked with COVID coming in, me moving out of my corporate job, starting entrepreneurship. So yes, technically been writing for 10 years now. And 6 years of me having realized, oh, this has gone in a completely different direction.
Looking back, it seems like such a genius master plan, I mean, like work on a corporate job, invest a good amount of time to build that community. And then once you have realized the community has matured enough, provide some product and service and get into an entrepreneurship.
I think that's
Like
the
master
best
stroke.
accidental masterstroke, what I would say. And I'll tell you the biggest benefit of having done that. What I tell now to corporate professionals and people who are eventually intending to move out, it's been 5.5 years since I moved out. I have not done cold calls in the last 5.5 years. Every lead, every business, every bit of revenue that has come in has been absolutely inbound through LinkedIn, just because I built that community or the brand that people look up to.
You make me remember one quote. I don't know, I read somewhere. If you're having tough time on sales, your marketing is wrong. Your marketing.
So the fact that when we spoke and you mentioned that we had a conversation way back in 21, that means the content worked.
Yeah,
So,
100%. 100%. And I think like building a business has completely changed in 2025, right? I mean, like in the past, you'd build a product and then you'll go on door to door or in n number of ways to find a customer. I think in 2025, you build a community first. And once there is an engaging community, they would come and say to you their problems. Okay, we are having this issue, we are having that issue. And then as somebody who has been building that community, you can come up with a solution, offer the solution to them, and then start a business from there, isn't it?
Absolutely. So see, I come from a sales background. So I did sales for 10 years in corporate before moving out. So totally 15 years of doing it. When you go and pitch a product to somebody as a salesperson, the first thing you're selling is yourself. A person buys from a person. So if he has trust on you, then the product comes secondary. I think that's a way to put that in here as well, that you're bypassing that trust factor that you build with when you build that community or build a brand for yourself. And then when you pitch the product, it's a much easier sell. So I think it's the same logic of sales that falls in here as well.
And a lot of people that I talk to, a lot of people that I feel then who can build amazing personal brand for the fact that they have done amazing things in their career. One of the constant response that I get from them is, oh no, I have not reached there where I need to be to start speaking up, to start building a personal brand. And I fail to make them understand that personal branding, talking about your reflections, talking about things that you're doing currently, documenting what you're up to is actually a process of expediting the process of your success. It's not something you do after you're successful, but everybody wants to be a success and we all are using n number of tools to be successful, right? And personal branding is one of those tools that can expedite, right? And I'm having really difficult time to make people understand. If you were on my end, how do you explain these people?
So I train people on personal branding, and one slide in that personal branding presentation is personal branding only for the rich and famous? The fact is, it is not. You can be an individual, you can be a 18-year-old just coming out of school or somebody who's just done graduation. Every single person needs a personal brand. If there is an audience who is listening to this and at the end of the hour and a half that we have this conversation, when they switch off this video, the impression that they have created of Sampark is the personal brand. And it matters to you as well. So if you're a fresher and you walk in for an interview, you have this conversation with the interviewer, and when you walk out, the perception that you leave behind is the personal brand that you're talking about. I know of people who have got jobs absolutely without interviews, just through the brand that they've built on a platform like LinkedIn. And when they asked the person offering the job, he said, I've seen you for 365 days. I've seen what you write, what your mindset is. You can fake in a 15-minute interview. You cannot fake yourself for over a year. So that's how it works. I have seen 19, 20-year-olds while in college, sharing their thoughts, etc., and building a brand for themselves. Now, I do a lot of sessions with college students and freshers. They say, I'm just 21. What do I write about? I don't have experience. I said, 21 years of your life. You have enough stories to share. And be it at office, be it at colleges, be it in your professional career, there are things that happen day to day. Talk about it. An experience with a customer, an experience with your boss, an experience with your team. And it's not about pulling down somebody. It's about sharing your thoughts and experiences, saying that today this was the problem that I had. I spoke to my boss and this is something that he told me was very revealing that I didn't realize this happens. It is just about being authentic. It's just about sharing your learnings. And trust me, there is an audience out there who will say, oh, this is so similar to what I experience every single day. So does not matter if you're a 18-year-old, does not matter if you're a 60-year-old, does not matter if you're a corporate professional, does not matter if you're an entrepreneur. You need to build a personal brand. Each and every one of us needs it.
And do you think LinkedIn is misunderstood from a perspective that it is only for professionals and not for students? It's only for executives and not for early phase employees?
So a lot of 50% people say it's a job search platform. 50% people say it's a sales platform, so you generate business out of it. I say both jobs, sales are all byproducts of the platform. The main thing of that platform is building relationships, building a network, building a personal brand. You do these three things well, your opportunities will come in, your businesses will come in. And it is not, I work with a lot of clients in this. There are a lot of corporate professionals who are there. There are a lot of entrepreneurs there. Today, even when people who are doing businesses, you first trust the person there.
Exactly.
Even if you're looking for a job, you first bet on the person that is there. I think LinkedIn is a strong catalyst, irrespective of what genre you come from, what age group that you come from. If you use it well, and people assume that going on to LinkedIn is, oh, I just need to put up my certificates or my achievements. It's not just about that. It's about value sharing, knowledge sharing. Because the moment you try going with the objective of, oh, I need a job, you're trying to sell yourself in every post.
You become you will appear too needy.
Absolutely. So when you give in terms of knowledge, in terms of value, you build that stronger brand that it all eventually comes back to you. The fact that we've been connected on LinkedIn for 3-4 years, the fact that that content works, the fact that you remember who I was, means that LinkedIn works. So, and having written on the platform for 10 years now, saying that I have not done cold calls since I moved into entrepreneurship means that it works. And I have not been selling on my posts. It's always been share my knowledge, share my experience, give out value, and it all comes back.
So let's do this small exercise. So most of our audiences are between 25 to 35. But I think the average age of Nepal is quite young. I think majority, almost 50 plus of our population is under 25. So let's do this homework. Let's try to build some basic frameworks that our readers, based on their age, can adopt, pick it up, and write something today by the time the episode is over. So for 18 to 20-year-old guys or girls who are currently doing the bachelor's, first year, second year, third year, what are the frameworks they can use to be active on LinkedIn?
Talk about the internships that you're doing. Talk about maybe guest lectures that have happened in college. Maybe talk about a project that you are working on. So you did a study or a live project on some brand. You liked something about it. Go ahead and write about it. So anything that you enjoy. The point is, don't force yourself into it. Just pick up things from your day-to-day life that you interacted with a professor. You liked something that they mentioned. Go ahead and talk about it. So that's something that they can surely write about.
I've been using this while I train people over here. I have been telling them this formula of documenting versus creating. I think a lot of people get stuck with an idea of, oh, okay, what do I create for my LinkedIn today? And I think that makes it very difficult to think from that perspective. I think what you just said, talk about the internship, talk about the guest lecture, projects, that is documenting, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, just simply document what you are up to, the things that you face today, tomorrow, yesterday, and then write about it. You don't really need to be super creative, write a script over it, then go and film it. Just be as authentic and document things happening in your life.
Absolutely. So something like as simple as that. If there are people who are listening to this, you enjoyed the podcast, go do a post about it. That I listened to this podcast. This is what I learned out of it. That's how it is. It is documenting. So if you enjoy this, go ahead, do a post about this itself. As simple as that.
And you know, I did something similar I like to say over here. So there's an Indian entrepreneur called Harish Mehta. So he has written this book called Maverick Effect. It talks about how Indian diaspora played a huge role on changing the tech space in India. So I read that book because somebody has given it to me. Because I think right now at this point of time we're trying to draw a lot of parallels between what happened in 1990 in India around tech and what is happening in 2025 in tech in Nepal. There's some sort of parallels. So I read the book, and then I wrote a long post on LinkedIn about my few takeaways and how I think Nepal could leverage a lot of things that was mentioned in the book. And I tagged Harish sir. He replied. He liked it and he commented. And now that post got exposure to his networks, which is massive network. And then I started getting good followers, and then a lot of people started connecting it to me. And I was like, okay, this is not a bad strategy.
No, I've had similar experiences of, this was way back in 2018 when I had done something very similar. And the gentleman was CEO of one of India's top FMCG companies. He not only replied, he sent me a signed copy of the second book a few months later. Another few months later, I met him at his home for a cup of coffee. I was still fairly young. He was somebody maybe at least 20 years more experienced than me. And to just have those 2 hours with him, sitting at his home, just like this, sharing a cup of coffee, picking his brains, I think that was such a big learning experience. And not once did he make me feel that this was someone who's fairly young. And I'm talking about 2018, so good 7-8 years back. And it was absolutely wonderful learning experience. So it works. And having said that, does not matter whom you are connecting with. People want to share their knowledge. 100%. So even if they're senior, we feel, oh, why will they speak to us? I'm such a young professional. Feel free, go tag them. I'm sure they will reply. They'll be more than happy to get in touch.
Okay, now let's shift to another age group. This is 25 to 35. So these are, so being 25, fairly new to the job market. 35 in their mid-30s, trying to scale what they're up to, figure out the industry they want to be in, but a lot more to achieve. So for this age group, what could be a framework?
See, so one, start talking about your work. Start sharing what's happening at work, experiences, clients, team. And as you go into the 30 plus, you go more into a managerial role. You become a people manager. You start running businesses on your own, etc. And then start sharing that knowledge of how do you grow others? How do you build a business? How do you scale a business? The point is, we always feel, oh, nobody's engaging with my content. Nobody's liking my content. But trust me, the senior people, they read everything. They may not click a like or a comment, but they notice everything. And when that fine opportunity comes, they will surely reach out. I'll give you an example. I used to work with Asian Paints till 2015. So I was an area manager for North Bengal. So I used to handle the whole Siliguri, Sikkim, Bhutan belt, not very far from here. So I stayed there for a couple of years. That was my first role. Then I moved to Calcutta, handled their institutional sales. Then I moved into the services role, etc. And I moved out in 2015. For almost 8 years, I wasn't in touch with the senior leadership. One fine day, somebody who's very, very senior reaches out to me saying, oh, Sampark, I noticed you doing something on LinkedIn. I would love to get in touch. The fact that he was almost 3-4 levels above me when I was there. I was a young area manager back then. But when I moved out 8 years later, he messaged me, we connected, I went and met him. The fact that that brand recall even worked 8 years after I moved out means that that whole thing works. And I was just sharing my knowledge. Today also, if you go through my feed, I still share my experiences of working with my 3 corporate stints. And then I share a lot of experiences from my entrepreneurship journey, etc. And as you rightly said, document what is happening. That's good enough. And I think that will also open up a lot of avenues because it also tells prospective employers, oh, this guy is good. Oh, see how forward thinking he is, how adaptive he is, how did he overcome the problems that he's facing. So even your prospective employers are reading it and you are building a brand in their brain. They may not have an opening today, but 3 months later, 6 months later, 1 year later, whenever that opportunity arises, the first name that should come to their mind is you. And that's if you talk from a marketing perspective, that's the brand recall that you build.
Exactly. And I think one of the difference I have noticed among people who are really great with their personal brand and people who are good with their personal brand, at least on LinkedIn, the good people are the ones who talk about datas. They talk about this, that, good at documenting. The great people are the ones who talks about insights from the data.
Right.
And it's the insights that make them so unique, because in the world, in the post AI world, I think getting a data is so easy, right? I can simply write a prompt, ChatGPT, give me the data on this, and make it ready in a way that I post it on LinkedIn. The data is available. But I think it's the insights that ChatGPT will not be able to give you that people might find it relatable, because you are your experience, regardless of how much information you feed to AI, the reflection, the insights can never match with the human, right? So do you believe that? I think
absolutely. See, because again, as you rightly said, the data is readily available. Just to copy paste that data here, anybody can do. What you take out from the data, how do you use that data for the benefit of yourself, your organization that you work for, the business that you run? I think that's what matters. To say that, oh, this is good or this is bad is one thing. How do you use that good as an opportunity? How do you use that bad as an opportunity? That is that value add that you as a human give, which no AI can give, as you rightly said.
And I think it's the insights that makes you, I mean, like, I think among people that I'm talking to them, trying to inspire them to start writing on LinkedIn, the other feedback that I get is, I don't really want to be me. I don't really want to talk about my success and all the time, because while you document the things that is happening in your life, generally it's talking about what are the things you are up to. So how do we make sure that this post does not just talks about you, and it does not just, I mean, like, you know what I mean, right? I mean, like, it's all about me, and nobody likes to read a post which is all about yourself. So I'm trying to go really into nuance, that how do we make that post where I'm documenting the things that is happening in my life, the reflection in my life, so that it becomes valuable to everyone, and it's just not about how great I am and how good I am with my thing.
See, so that's the mistake people make. You won an award, you go and put it on LinkedIn. You did something well, people go and put it on LinkedIn. But when you're documenting, it can also be very simple things of like, I met Anup, had a lovely conversation with him, and just listening to him gave me these 3 inspirational ideas. Then you're not talking about yourself. You're talking about Anup as an individual. You're also talking about your vulnerabilities. You're also talking about the times where things did not go as well as it did. Because at the end of the day, as a prospective employer or somebody who would want to work with you, he will also want, you will want to see somebody's, okay, that person is open to learning. The person accepts that he may not have done it as well as he could have, or this person did face a challenge and this is how he overcame it. So it's not about laying everything bare out there, but the fact is that, okay, do share your hardships, the tough times, how you overcame that, and just share experiences. And not every experience may be talking about, oh, I'm so great or I'm so fantastic. Show every aspect of yourself. A lot of people also ask me, does LinkedIn only have to be professional work? Or just it only talking about work in specific? I say no. Because when you're building a personal brand, you're talking about every facet of your personality. You are a culmination of everything that is there. So if you like sports, talk about sports. If you are into reading, talk about reading. The fact that networking is a lot about ice breaking. And today you say, oh, that sports event yesterday, this particular sports person, absolutely adore him, etc. There might be somebody on the other end and say, oh, I'm a fan as well. Did you see that match? And it just opens up a comfort level. When you talk about saying, I read this book and I loved what the book was about, somebody else who might have read that book will also maybe come back and say, oh, I've read that book as well. For me, this concept was the best. And then in that whole networking bit, the moment there is a ice breaking there is a level of comfort that comes in. And then you take the conversation wherever you want to. So it's not only about me. I think you talk about a lot of other things. don't procrastinate too much. Don't hold yourself back. Just let it flow once you start posting out there, because we keep overthinking. What will people think? My English is not good. Everything is already written about. Oh, I'm just 21-year-old. There are so many senior people here writing about it. Don't think
Forget it.
So there's this quote in Hindi that I say, दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा रोग है क्या कहेंगे लोग.
Yeah.
So we keep thinking what others are thinking about you, but they are busy thinking what you are thinking about them.
100%.
Ignore. On LinkedIn, 90% people do not do anything. 7 to 8% just like and comment. Only 2% create content. So the moment whatever you write, the moment you start writing, you're already in the top 2%.
And I think the other way to look around would be, whenever you're writing, make sure you write your insights in a way that other people can pick it up and implement, because you are a sample size of a larger community, right? I mean, like, obviously we all are unique, but I am a sample size of a lot of people like me in a different parts of the world, or maybe within my community as well. So when you write something, but then if the insights and reflection could be something that other people also can pick it up and implement in their life, and if they can see a difference, that's where you build the right personal brand, right? Because you actually added a values on someone else's life.
Absolutely. So I'll tell you, when I started writing, I would write a lot of my experiences from sales. I was into sales. So there would be a day I meet a customer where things didn't go as well. There was a customer where somebody treated me badly. And the moment I started writing about it, I was just sharing a story. But then every salesperson was reading this saying, this has happened with me. This seems so relatable. Exactly. Thank you for saying this aloud. Somebody had to say this. So that's where that connect happens. And that's where I get a lot of messages saying, I always felt I was the only one facing this. Now that you say it, I realize that it's a common problem for each of us. So I think that's where you build those bonds. That's where you build those relationships. And maybe by the time this conversation ends, people who are listening to it, that bond will be with them as well. So
100%. So now let's talk about this another group of people who are between 35 to 50. Now, from a sane mind, it makes sense for these young people to get confused about what do I write. I have not really achieved much in this in my career, but people between 35 to 50 already in their career, thriving, doing amazing things, proud of what they have done, created an impact. And now when I talk to Daiharu of this age around my circle, I still find them, I mean, like, they have so much to talk about. They have done so many things. But I think it's the being media shy or the rogue that you just mentioned of kya kahenge log, it's something that holds them back. So when I talk to them, I feel like I don't even need to talk about the integrity of how should they write. Maybe the only thing I should talk about is the mindset and not really be concerned about what someone else is going to think about when you're writing. What do you think?
See, I think by this time you have enough experiences, and I think it's also time, I won't say give back. 35 or a 40 is not old enough to start giving back as such. I fall that similar bracket. But the fact is that there is so much that you can do. There is so much that you can share with the audience. When we were in that 18 to 21, 22 year bracket, we did not have too many people to reach out to or fall back on to learn from their experiences. I think the good thing with social media and tech now is that there is a way for that younger audience to touch base with senior professionals. And I think as senior professionals, even if you might be a senior corporate professional or an entrepreneur, you also need a team to grow. And I think that's a very good way to reach out to that audience, to the younger audience, share your learnings, connect with them. And there is this whole thing of reverse mentoring. By the time you hit your 40s, and with this AI revolution coming in, you can become redundant very soon.
Exactly.
So one, that's a good way. When you are sharing, you also upskill for yourself. You also connect with younger professionals on the platform. You learn from them, because the kind of energy, the kind of knowledge that the younger audience today brings also is very different. So I think share your knowledge, build your network, learn. You need to keep upskilling. Once you hit that age group, if you don't upskill, the way the world is changing, you will also get washed out soon. So I think rather than playing this on the age thing, you are similar to everybody else even the younger audience, and you need to keep learning and moving as well.
A trend that I've started seeing lately in Nepali LinkedIn community of Nepali people, I think people are so much behind the likes, engagement, comments that they have become more focused on using hooks. I mean, like hooks is probably the one of the most talked about thing when I see in the community of ours in Nepali in LinkedIn. So, what do you think? Hook is that important?
See, how you write it, how do you grip your audience is important. That I will not deny that. But to get into this fact of, oh, my post needs to get this many likes, or my post needs to get this many impressions. Today, getting viral is misunderstood to be as building a personal brand. You can say anything, you can badmouth anybody, you can pull down somebody. The moment you put out negativity, you can be sarcastic, you can say, oh, this is bad, the economy is bad, or the government is bad, or my boss is bad, or the HR is bad. You will get a lot of likes. But is it building the brand that you want to for yourself? There are people in our lives who, when walk into the room, we say, oh, this guy's back again, he's going to be again complaining and cribbing, etc. There are people.
Yes.
And we all know these people. If you do this on LinkedIn, you will get a lot of likes. When you pull down, my boss is bad, this is how he's bad. Everybody said, my boss is also bad. But the fact is, what's your objective of being on the platform? As a corporate professional, you might be looking for a job soon. You might be looking for an opportunity soon. You might be looking for generating business. As an entrepreneur, you would want to build a team. You will want to enter new markets. You are writing it, you are on LinkedIn, not for likes or getting viral. You are on LinkedIn to fulfill that objective that you are on. So when you build a personal brand, the first step of building a personal brand is define what's your objective of doing this. Do you want to become a content creator? Do you want to become an influencer? Do you want to get viral? That's a separate genre altogether. But if you are building a personal brand to get a better job, to build a better career, to build a better professional, then you need to know what you're going to be running at. There are so many people who come back and say, my boss is bad. This is how he is. Do you think any future prospective boss reading this will say, oh, I will hire this? What will he say? Okay, today I hire this person. Tomorrow, God forbid, something goes wrong.
He's going to write about
me as well. And he's going to publicly demean me as well. Let's not take a risk. I will not employ this person. So the fact is, the moment you go into the whole negative angle of this, and the easiest way to get likes is to go negative. Negativity sells. You look at media channels, you look at everything else. The more you talk about this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, everybody watches it. But building a personal brand is building, as I mentioned earlier, when I walk out of this hall or when people switch this video off, what is the perception that they build of Sampark is the brand. And that's exactly what you need to do. So don't confuse likes and impressions and virality as the same as building a personal brand. You want to become an influencer, you say, I want to become a TikTok star or an Instagram star. That's a different ballgame. But then your objective needs to be that. So what you need to define your objective. Once your objective is defined, then do whatever is needed to be.
The other confusion that I have observed in my community is they do not understand the difference between creating content and curating content. I mean, like there are a lot of creators whose format of creating content is they would simply post a picture of a very successful guy and write a biography about them and the great things they have done. And for me, that is curation. I mean, like there are too many successful people out there. Even if you start writing for next 365 days, you'll have another 10,000 people who are worth writing, right? But that is more of a curation, and I don't really see a long-term value being created through that curation, right? I getting me?
So, see again, when you write about a successful person, what are you talking about yourself? Because if I want to become a personal brand and I write about Elon Musk, what am I talking about Sampark? Nothing. What is the perception that you build of Sampark? Nothing. What the perception of Sampark comes from, what's the value add that I'm doing? What's my touch to it? As you rightly said, documenting and
curating.
Or when you mentioned documenting and creating, just putting it out there is one thing. Adding your value bit to it. So if you say, okay, Elon Musk built this company, how does that knowledge impact you? What is your opinion on it? What do you think this will be in the future like? When you add your personal touch to it, as a reader, as a viewer, I realize, oh, this is how Sampark thinks. This is what Sampark's mind works on. So in addition to that curating, it can't be a blind copy paste from just putting data out there. And this data can be about the individual. How do you utilize that information? How does that impact the larger audience? I think that's what matters more in this aspect as well.
So true. I think you opened up a different lens for me when you just said you are building your personal brand, not someone else's personal brand. And if you cannot draw a parallel from that successful guy to you, and if you cannot really like put an insight on what are you doing differently because you got to know about this information. If you're just putting that out information, I think that is not really a value, right? Because information has become a commodity,
right,
in the post AI world. So you write about someone, it's fairly good approach, but go an extra mile, draw out a parallel to your life, and talk to people about how that has helped you, influenced you, shaped you, and what are the things you are doing differently. Now you know the information.
Right.
Now that's where you are building your personal brand.
So see, again, so Elon Musk did this. When I started my business and I got to know about this incident, I felt, okay, learning from this is how I could build my brand differently. I think that's how, as you rightly said, you draw that parallel of how did that learning get accommodated into your life. And I think that's what, then it's personal branding.
Now I like to shift a gear.
Sure.
One of the things that I've noticed in Indian entrepreneurial scene is how these founders have started to come out and started this founder-led marketing, be it Nikhil Kamath, be it Santanu with Bombay Saving, Kunal Shah is quite active, and you name it. I mean, there are a lot of entrepreneurs, Dipendra Goyal from Zomato. The whole marketing is now a founder-driven marketing. And I think it really works, right? Like the power of personal brand.
So again, I draw that parallel with that whole sales thing. When I walk in and I come to sell you a product, the first thing you will say is, do you have confidence in me as an individual? Do you trust me as an individual? If you do, then you will even pay attention to the product I'm talking about. If you feel, oh, this guy's creepy, or if you say, oh, this guy is just talking aloud and has actually no value in what he's saying, irrespective of how good my product is, you will not buy. That comes from sales. Now, if I go back into these founders, and when you look at a show like Shark Tank, a lot of investors at that time say, I see the idea, but I see your energy, I see your value. I am betting on you. And I'm betting on you thinking that whatever the product is, you will pull it off. The bet is on the individual. So be it sales, when you're selling a product, be it in raising investments, the bet is on the founder. I think that human to human trust is important before you talk about the product as well. And I think that's where people have realized the importance of the human connect. People have realized the importance of personal branding. And that's why when you mention the names like a Nikhil Kamath or a Kunal Shah, today they are as big, if not bigger, they are as big as the brands that they have built. And they are no less celebrities now. There was a time when you would talk about sports people or film stars, etc. Now entrepreneurs are as popular, and I think that's also a good way that we have started showcasing these set of people who are building the kind of employment. They are also big inspiration to the younger generation as well. So yeah, it has moved very big, and while the Indian market may have moved now, but if you look at a Steve Jobs, or you look at a Bill Gates, or even an Elon Musk, they are as big brands as the brands that they built behind as well.
Do you think, because a lot of trend that comes to Nepal, I can see. So for example, I say to my teams, if you have to really predict pattern in Nepal, do a deep study about India for other things that have happened in the last couple of years, and you'd be able to draw this parallel on, or even predict what are the newer innovations that might come. Because innovation is generally it's a transfer of information,
Right.
knowledge, culture from one geography to other, right? Do you also see the same parallel between US and India? I mean, like a lot of things in India is actually inspired, influence from the American culture, from the American way of working.
So can be American, can be the other Western countries as well. There is that trickle down that happens. Uh, Obviously, I don't have stats to prove this, but what we normally speak also
Yeah,
that
in general.
3-4 years, 5 years, whatever happens there is bound to happen and trickle down into the other markets as well. So yes, that is there. And I think that's also good, as you rightly said, that's a good way of predicting where things might move in. Having said that, good thing is that now in our markets as well, things have started developing faster. And hopefully over the next few years, markets like India, Nepal will also be trendsetters in terms of, and as we were discussing before the shoot as well, and you spoke about the adaptivity here, be it of EVs, of AI, etc. I think that was a surprising factor for me, that how strong those transitions have been in the Nepal market as well.
So, while I'm trying to draw a parallel between LinkedIn in India and LinkedIn in Nepal, I see a lot of heavy research-driven content being produced from from LinkedIn community in India, and now again, as you just said, I see that trend really picking up in Nepal eventually, and that is something we're trying to pitch few of our clients whose LinkedIn we manage. So coming from now that we have been talking about personal brand and how personal brands should approach LinkedIn, how do you see it differently in terms of how should a company should approach LinkedIn?
See, when an organization is on LinkedIn, there are two broad ways that they majorly run. One is the objective of generating business. Second becomes a very strong people aspect, which is the whole employer branding aspect of attracting good talent. So one is a forefront towards the outside world, which is your customers and other stakeholders. One is more focused to the internal consumer, which is your employees. So that's a broad, if I have to bracket it into two things. When I'm talking it about the external consumers, talk about your products, talk about your launches, talk about the new features that you have, talk about the industry trivia if it's a newer market, how are you setting those trends, etc. So that's one kind of approach of the posting or the content creation that you do if your focus is mostly towards external consumers. When I'm talking about the internal consumers, for a lot of younger businesses, a lot of family-driven businesses who are now trying to move into a corporate kind of a setup, because as consumers, you know a lot of B2C brands, you know a lot of very big brands. But as consumers, if it's a B2B brand, something into logistics, something into cargo, something into creating a B2B raw material kind of product, the layman does not know about these brands. Then you need to be projecting the whole employer branding of what policies do you have, why should people be working with you, talk about how long people have been working here, what's the culture like. What you are showcasing to the people on LinkedIn is, see how wonderful it is to work with me. Can be for freshers, can be for senior professionals. It showcases your approach towards your employees, because at the end of the day, HR is again a very mistaken department. People assume it's just salaries and payroll. Today, every business leader that I have worked with, they have a common problem: people. There is attrition. You don't get good enough. People do not stick around, etc. People are always looking for better opportunities. If your human resources is strong, from the aspect of you give them the culture that they enjoy working with, you give them a path to growth, you have a wonderful policy in terms of training them, upskilling them, making them better corporate professionals, more and more people will want to work with you. And if you're doing this, LinkedIn becomes a very important platform to showcase it. Again, a lot of people think that LinkedIn is about just showing off. It is not. It's just about telling what you are doing. A line in sales is, jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. whatever is visible is sales. You might have the best product in the world, but if you don't market it, it will not work. You might have the best culture in the world, but till you tell your few prospective employees, they will never know. And then you will not attract the kind of talent. So decide what is your objective as an organization on LinkedIn, and then create your content strategy accordingly.
What about employers who fear bringing these employees up in LinkedIn with out of a fear that they will get headhunted by someone else? Because few organizations that we have helped, it was really difficult for us to make them understand that there is a thing called employee advocacy in LinkedIn, where if employees are sharing your content, if they are talking about it, I think the page actually gets more engagement. So how do you make your employees share the company's content on their personal profile when you actually promote them in return? When you promote your senior officials, when you promote your employees, I think that's where you are actually generating some sense of ownership for them to actually repost, talk about it. But I think that get overshadowed by a fear of, if I'm putting my top players out in the market for everyone to see it, they might get headhunted. Now, how do we help them come out of this very narrow, limited mindset?
See, for a lot of employers, the mindset is, salary is the only deciding factor for whom an employee wants to work for. It is not. If you take care of your people well, if you, from a culture perspective, from as simple as giving them a visibility of where their career can go or what's the direction of growth in their organization, how do you care for your employees? And when you say care for employees, does not mean an engagement activity or taking them out for a meal, but how do you bother or care for their career or growth as a professional? How can they work with you and where can they go? How fair are you in terms of your appraisals or performance management? If you are taking care of your employees and if you are taking the best interest of your employees in your creation of all of this, that employee will not go anywhere. If you assume, salary, or you're not taking care of your employee, or your employees are also thinking, okay, where's my next interview? Like,
they're going to go anyway.
They are going to go anyway. So what you need to do, and you take care of your people and people will take care of the business. I think that's Richard Branson, if I'm not wrong. But you need to take care of your people. And if you're doing that, then irrespective of who approaches them, they will not go.
You really bring the dynamics of HR, sales, marketing, and platform content into one plate. And I feel that makes you so powerful for this particular platform alone. Do you ever go through a crisis that, or let's say, an internal crisis of, I need to be available everywhere. I need to be omnipresent everywhere. While I'm big on LinkedIn, I need to build my Instagram. I need to build my Facebook. I need to build my TikTok. I need to build my email list. Because in today's world, there's so many platforms, right? So how do you so first question, do you ever go through that thought?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
And second, what do you do about it?
See, I built up LinkedIn accidentally. Okay. It was never a thing, okay, create content, make a calendar. Now, yes, I'm under pressure to do it because of I have 100,000 following and I need to create content. I do have that thought, okay, I need to build my other platforms, or Instagram or a YouTube. India does not have TikTok for that matter. But again, I realize my comfort zone, when you are trying to force yourself into a box of saying, I need to create videos. It may or may not work. For me, what naturally comes in is writing. I can sit for 5 minutes and maybe create a post. It's part of me as a individual. So that comes very naturally to me. But I think the moment I try going to the other models of, create a video, create a script, then record it and then edit it, I think that starts putting a lot of strain mentally, and then it looks like a task. So having said that, will I want to build the other platforms? Absolutely. Have I been able to build it as of now? Not yet. Do I go through this crisis every few weeks? Yes. Does my team keep telling me this? Yes. But yeah, someday it will happen for sure.
But do you feel it is really important to be omnipresent at this point of time? I mean, like, if you're good, people will come and follow you, right?
See, you should also know, again, what's your objective and whom do you want to reach out to. Today, I do a lot of corporate trainings. I have co-founded this another venture in HR, which my wife leads as well. And then I do this whole content marketing bit with LinkedIn. All my 3 ventures that I run, the focus is corporates. The focus would be senior leaders, 35, 40, industry leaders, entrepreneurs. For me, of whatever that I'm running and what I'm trying to build is LinkedIn. So for me, that matters. So while I want to be on the others, but I know of the business that I'm growing, this is where my TG is. So you need to know what your objective is. This is my objective. What is the platform that works? Today, if I say I want to build a B2C brand, or I want to build a fashion brand, or I want to build a cosmetic brand, I know Instagram becomes as important. Today, if I say I want to do something else, and I know YouTube becomes as important. So you need to know where that bit comes in.
So again, I think coming down to the objective, and because resources are always finite. So if you are quite clear on your objective, I think it's better to invest a lot of your resources into one thing and doing it great, and eventually let a lot of other things happen accidentally.
Let's see when the other platforms come up.
Next time I'm hosting Sampark. So
Instagram
got built up accidentally.
So I'm there on Instagram. I'm there on YouTube. There are decent following, but nowhere compared to the 100,000 on LinkedIn. So yes, maybe with this, my YouTube and my Instagram following also increases. Let's hope so.
God bless. Okay. So I think when it comes to what you said was be very clear on your objective, and I think objectives become clear with a lot of soul searching, right? And this is easier said than done. So if you have to help somebody to bring more clarity in their mind, be more clear about your objective, do more soul searching, is there any process, format, or steps have you identified that our audience can pick it up and try for themselves?
See, as youngsters, once you've moved into college, you've done your 18, 19 years of studies, I think feel free to experiment. We go by a lot of written rules of saying, oh, my dad did this is what I've seen, I should also do the same. Back when we were growing up in India, you either became an engineer or you became a doctor or you did commerce, etc. But now the kind of things that you want to do is so open with the whole social media thing. Becoming a YouTuber was never a profession even few years back. Today, people are doing that full time. Yes, it looks glamorous, but there's a lot of hard work behind it. So irrespective of what you want to do, I had never thought about it that I'll build a whole business around LinkedIn. If even 3 months before me moving out of corporate, you'd said that, would you be even an entrepreneur? I would have said no. Would you build a business revolving around LinkedIn? I would have said no. But I think that's something which has absolutely opened a lot of doors. So for youngsters who are watching this, feel free to experiment. When I moved out, I came from a small town in India. I did my graduation from Bombay. It was suddenly a shocker for me. Back home, everybody said, oh, you are good in accounts. Why don't you do chartered accountancy, etc. I enrolled into it. 3 months into it, I realized, okay, if I have to do this all my life, I can't. So I quit that. I called up home. We'd invested a good amount of money in the whole coaching, trainings, etc. bit of it. I said, I'm not enjoying this. I then sold TVs as a part-time job in one of those big electronic store. And that's where I realized, oh, this is something that I enjoy. And that's where I decided to do my MBA, build a career in sales. Then accidents kept happening, and that's how I landed up with running a couple of businesses of my own. So don't hold yourself back. If you feel there is something that you enjoy, try it out. Work for a few months, do internships, do live projects, use platforms like LinkedIn to speak to a lot of people. People who because now you have access to people who build their careers in those genres. Speak to them, openly share your thoughts, doubts, and then take an informed call. And trust me, 1 year of experimenting or a 2 year of experimenting is better than getting stuck in a wrong job for 35 years. And people feel, oh, what if I take a gap year? What if I restart something that I had done, I didn't enjoy? 1 year is nothing in a lifetime. If you get stuck doing something you don't enjoy for 30 years, you will keep beating your head. You will be stressed. You will not enjoy it. You will drag yourself out of bed. You go back a year if required and restart. You will go up much faster and much further ahead than where you could have if you just hung on to something you didn't enjoy.
Very true. And I think there is this trend that maybe people in both India and Nepal and other South Asian countries might relate to, that there is a constant pressure that you cannot take a gap. You do your 10, then plus 2, high school, then do your grad, then do your masters, and then you want to do your PhD. Don't take a gap. Education is something that you should complete in one go. And it keeps people on a constant pressures to choose something that the crowd is choosing, even though if it is not something that you actually enjoy. So what you just said, I think I was just writing what you said. So experiment, don't hold, and be upfront about it if you're not enjoying. Be it with parents, and have that difficult conversation, even if it's with your parents, mentors, friends, that if you're not enjoying something, let them know and then take a risk.
Having said that, does not mean that you leave anything and everything. Give it your best shot. Give it everything that is possible, and yet then you still don't enjoy something. Feel free to move back, but don't shirk away from hard work, because that hustle is required. People assume that, oh, building a YouTube channel is easy money. You just need to record and you need to put it. No. Any successful person, be it on LinkedIn or a YouTube or for anywhere on that matter, there is a lot of thought, a lot of hard work behind that. So don't let it go because it's a lot of tough work. Let it go if you're not enjoying it after you've given all the kind of effort, input, all the hard work that you can.
Because there is not going to be an alternative to the hard work.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what you do, you'll be putting hours and hours into it.
Absolutely.
So quite interesting. So you started by selling TV. So I assume you were good with storytelling even like from day one, because I think storytelling is one of the big part of sales, right? You have been mentioning in the podcast again that even before people buy product, they buy you, and then they buy what you are carrying with yourself, right? So is there any specific formula or pattern that you have noticed within yourself, in your approach around storytelling that you use that you have been quite successful with?
See, storytelling is a lot about, if again, be it a personal brand or you selling a product, if you share something where the other person feels, oh, this is similar to what I do. Again, same thing from a content creation perspective, where it sounds relatable to the person. When people read it, this is the same problem that I face in my career, or this is the same problem that I faced when I was selecting a career, where it becomes relatable, where people see that I also go through this, or I have also gone through this. I think that's where that connect happens. That's where that icebreak happens. If there is something in my journey that I tell you and you say, this sounds similar to what I've experienced, I think that's where the storytelling wins. So when you're talking about a product as well, or you're selling TVs for that matter, you say, so there was somebody who came in yesterday with a similar kind of a problem statement saying that this is what my requirement is, this is what, and this is the TV that he selected. He'll say, okay, somebody like me bought this one, I should also buy this. It can be TV, it's just an example, but it applies to anything and everything.
So relativity is a secret to better storytelling.
Absolutely.
The other thing that came in my mind when you were talking about this personal brand was that I lost my chain of thought a moment ago. So now I would like to say it. I draw quite a strong parallel between a personal brand, the format of personal brand, how it is evolving, and how the podcast as a format is evolving. And let me tell you how. Because I think in today's world, if I want to know about how Facebook is evolving, I would rather go and listen to what Mark Zuckerberg is saying, not read or analysis of some third party writer who would be listening to a same conversation and making his prediction. Obviously, that might also be valuable, but my primary source of information would always be from that particular personal brand. And it generally happens through a podcast, because in podcasts, like you said, it's quite difficult to fake an year-long consistency. It's quite difficult to fake an hour or 2 hours long conversation, right? So the dynamics of personal brand becoming more stronger, and what they say is becoming the primary source of information where people consume most of the content from, and they are saying it on the podcast. And in generally, you see podcasts where, in any podcast where the guest, the personal brand of a guest is quite powerful, that does perform really well. So I try to getting me the kind of dynamics that I see between personal brand and the podcasting, the authenticity, and how these things are moving along.
See, again, because podcasting also becomes a very powerful tool for personal branding. LinkedIn is one tool. Podcasting is another tool. The fact that if in this conversation, people have survived the 1 hour, they're listening to it, that means you are being able to build that interest. And that's where the personal brand comes across. What is my chain of thought? Sampark might be a trainer or an entrepreneur or a corporate professional, but what's the thought behind this? What is it that is driving Sampark as an individual? With podcast, you have a longer period of time to understand the individual. With a LinkedIn kind of a thing, it's just one content piece. But when you're listening to somebody for an hour, it's just like having a conversation. I might be having this conversation with you and somebody might be just watching it. But through the 1 hour, they get into an insight into who Sampark is, what drives him, what are the values that he's carrying. And I think that's where it becomes a very strong personal branding mechanism as well. And who is Sampark? If you listen to this for 1 hour, you will broadly get an idea of what it is. And I think that's where podcasting is a very, very strong personal branding tool.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sampark sir, for I had an amazing time talking to you. Is there anything particular you want to talk more on?
See, I think I'll repeat what I said earlier, that don't hold yourself back. There will be younger professionals listening to this, etc. It's your career. Nobody else is going to come build it for you. It's your personal brand. Again, a statement that I put in a lot of my presentations is, if you do not build your own brand, somebody else will, and they will not build it in a way that you would have wanted to build it if you'd done it yourself.
Exactly.
So it's your career. It's your life. You will have to take control. Nobody's going to do it for you.
100%. And I think we have to thank Pranena for bringing you Nepal for this event, Nepal My Future, so where you and I are attending together. So yeah, I think I had an amazing time, and there are few takeaways for me personally. I think I speak to a lot of 40 plus professionals and who are working somewhere, and they really want to start something of their own, but they're stuck in the job, the comfort zone in a job, and they can't really make a decision on like what would be a right time to basically quit and start my own thing. And I think your life and your approach has been a masterstroke. I think if people can simply be far-sighted in terms of if they can plan their career for if they can be very clear in their objective one, plan content for a couple of years, build the community with the power of content, and then take a leapfrog around what they want, the business they want to build. I think that this could be a great formula to get into an entrepreneurship from a job.
Absolutely. And I think take that plunge. You will regret not taking it. Take it. If things don't work out, you can always go back. I think that's where the power of branding works. That you build such a strong brand that even if you attempt something and God forbid it does not work, you always have that personal brand to fall back on, and you come back to normal as you are. So it's absolutely okay. Just don't hold yourself back.
Exactly. And the other thing that I keep telling to the professionals over here in Nepal is, I think one of the problems Nepali youth is having is they are not being able to see they're not being able to drive aspiration and inspiration from their local community. For example, if people want to be people want to be Elon Musk, they would want to be around Elon Musk. They would want to go US, right? So I think the young guys with an average age of 25, if they could see more successful seniors, I think they can actually give them a trust that a lot of things can happen in Nepal. If these people have done it, I can do it too. And the chances of we holding these talents here, making our workforce work for this community could actually increase, right? Nepal is right now going through a massive depopulation. A lot of youth are moving outside, and one of the reason I feel is we have not been able to show them or put a spotlight to people who are already successful here in Nepal, staying in Nepal, working in Nepali problems. And I think this podcast can actually inspire a couple of the seniors, couple of people who have already done amazing things in their life to speak up, to come outside, to build that image and show the young guys that, see, things are possible in Nepal. I think we can really hold a few good people here.
No, absolutely. I think you look at your example. You've built this whole podcast series. You build a whole business here. The people that you have been interviewing on the podcast, these are people that are examples that the youth should look up to. So it's very easy to look at the people who are leaving, but I think people should watch every episode of your podcast. I think there is a lot of inspiration there. There is a lot that can be done. And I think that's also an opportunity for everybody who's listening to this. That's again an opportunity that you can build upon. And feel free. You need to talk about what's happening, what's going well, etc. There is an untapped opportunity. It's just waiting for somebody to come and take it.
So I'm going to link your LinkedIn below. Do you respond to every message that you get?
I try to.
Okay.
So
what kind of message you actually respond back, or what kind of message you don't respond back?
See, where people assume that, hi Sampark, do you have a job? So rather than that, build
context,
build a network, build a relationship. And I think if you've heard or listened to the podcast till here, there is a certain perception that I would have built. People who've been listening to you for so many months and years, etc., they would have built a perception. When you connect with people, basis that, oh Sampark, I saw your podcast, I heard you here, etc. I know the context of you reaching out. Work on genuinely building a connection, not
getting something out of it.
Not getting something out of it. You will eventually get something out of it. But because when you are writing to someone saying, do you have a job? I'm selling this product. Indirectly, you're telling the person, I'm not interested in knowing you. I'm only interested in taking money out from you. So that's where the disconnect happens. So for me, again, LinkedIn has been a platform very close to my heart. So I attempt to reply to as many. So if people are listening to this, please reach out. I would be happy to reply, or they can obviously comment below. And
100%. Yeah. And I think one thing that it really bothers me is people, after listening to any of the podcasts we produce, they call me and they be like, hi Anup, can you connect me with this guy? And I was like, dude, if we have watched our full podcast, on almost every podcast, at the end of the podcast, I asked my guests that what kind of message do they reply? So if you had genuinely watched full and had this genuine intention to building that relationship, you can simply build that context, build that story, find that relativity, and then send them a message. And if your message is good, people will reply.
Absolutely.
So yeah, for everybody who's watching this, I am not going to give you a WhatsApp number of Sampark. Make sure you do the hard work and then reach out. Thank you so much once again. It was a pleasure having you.
It was a pleasure.
And I will find more reason to have you back again in the podcast.
I would be looking forward. I was last here 26 years ago as a kid. It took me that long to come back again, but hopefully I should be back soon. And yeah.
100%. And for everybody who's watching this, I know this is a long podcast. If you have what's this long, kudos to your patience. So we'll link Sampark LinkedIn link below. So definitely reach out. And it looks easy. It's just in front of a camera, two guys talking, but behind the camera, behind the computer screen, there are amazing people making sure this is happening. So I'd like to thank my team member Aditya for amazing edits, for Suyuk, amazing production, and then Dipesh for amazing research. We'll be back again with another amazing episode. I'd also like to thank our production company, Vifind Us. Vifind Us is one of the largest B2B content producer here in Nepal. So if you are struggling with content, if you're struggling with sales, and if you're looking for support where we can help you design your content strategy and help sales for your business, definitely do reach out. We'll be back again with another amazing episode. Till then, you guys take care. Bye bye.